Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Inglês no Rádio.
It's so professional right now.
Perhaps the longest and most improvised Cambly ad. Our most improvised Cambly ad.
No, but it doesn't mean that it's like not true at all, you know.
No.
It's the opposite. It's very, very positive and very true.
Your dad said, uma senhora de South Dakota, cheia de neve, toda uma fantasia. Yeah. During the last month when we didn't have time or motivation to record some new episodes and I had to look for old episodes with Cambly ads, we have done some crazy Cambly ads. Last time we were in Portugal, we recorded like 7 ads when we were surrounded by cats. Do you remember this?
In the middle of a small plaza of Alandroal.
On the top of a mountain in the middle of hell nowhere, central Portugal, Alentejo.
And there was those baby cats.
There were those
There
baby
were.
cats.
The kittens, né? Como
Yeah.
se fala? Kittens.
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 Kittens. Stop T sound.
Yes.
Kittens.
Kitten. Kitten. Kitten.
It's the same sound that you make if you say like certain.
CERN.
Okay, Alexia. So in the last episode, we were talking about how the level of English here in Portugal is pretty impressive, or at least you are very impressed by it.
Like everyone knows English.
Yeah, I would say in Lisbon and Porto,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah. Coimbra, I imagine as well. Like,
Yeah, in the cities.
yeah, in the cities.
So I want to ask you a few questions about that. Why, first of all, do you think that occurs? Because you could make the argument that Portuguese people and Brazilians, you guys speak the same language natively. Why is their English so much better? And not only,
Not much better. I would think that why do Portuguese have more access to English than Brazil?
yeah, in general, you want to say Portuguese people,
Yeah, Portuguese people.
unless you say the Portuguese.
Okay.
Yeah, it's difficult when you're talking about like countries, the people that live in a country. Like you could say Brazilians, Americans, but then you have some really weird ones. Like we don't say the Spanish, we say Spaniards.
And what? Spaniards.
Yeah, he's a Spaniard.
It's like a dog breed.
Yeah. Yeah, not in a bad way, no disrespect.
No,
to
we love
Spaniards.
dogs. No problem at all. But
I love
it's-
Spaniards too.
Spaniards
Spaniards are fun.
are Spanish people.
You could say Spanish people. There's no version of Spaniards for Portuguese people, though. You just have to say,
Portuguese people.
yeah, or people from Portugal.
Okay.
You could say the Portuguese are quite reserved, but that sounds very formal and a little bit strange.
Okay. So my first point would be that the Portuguese I'm kidding. Portuguese people, they have more access to English than Brazilians have
Okay. Access in what sense?
in schools,
In
public
schools.
public and private schools.
Okay.
And here public schools are very, very, very good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Have you been sitting in on some public elementary school classes here in Portugal?
No, but I've been reading a lot. And we took a kind of Uber here, which is not Uber.
Bolt?
Yes, which is amazing.
Yeah.
So
Has Bolt
those
arrived in Brazil yet?
I don't think so. So those who are coming to Portugal, Bolt is way, way cheaper than Uber, and it works amazingly well.
Amazingly well.
Yeah,
I like your description.
yeah.
So can I tell you my theory?
No, let me finish mine.
Okay.
So I took a boat, and that the guy
If you don't really exaggerate the English L sound,
boat.
it
Boat
sounds like
is
you're saying,
barco.
I took a boat.
I'm
Peguei
on a
barco.
boat. I'm on a boat. Everybody look at me because I'm on a boat.
Mm-hmm.
So the driver.
You took a car.
Yeah. The driver, who is Brazilian, he was telling my dad and I that he arrived here with his wife and his kid, like 4 years old kid.
Mm-hmm. 4-year-old kid.
4-year-old kid, a little girl. So this girl, a 4-year-old kid,
Mm-hmm.
right? They were looking for a school for her. And here, I think it's almost the same system as in the United States. I'm not sure. Like, you had to put your kids in a public school from your neighborhood.
Yeah.
I think it's almost the same. I'm not sure at this point. But they were looking for a public school next to their home, and they were super afraid because, as you guys know, not all public schools from Brazil are very good.
Is that the way it works in Brazil as well?
I think it was supposed to work this way. But for example, the lady who used to work at our house,
Mm-hmm.
like our maid, she used our address to put her kid in the public school next to her work.
Yeah.
So
It's a fascinating. That is the way that it still works in the U.S. That depending on where you live, that is what determines.
it happened to you.
Yeah, that is true. When I was like 4 or 5, no, like 6 or 7 maybe, my parents moved just like 10 minutes down the street so I could go to a better public school, which is, I think it's a weird system because, if you have people moving to different places just so their kids can go to one school, and then other people want to move there because they want their kids to get a good education, but some people can't afford to go to that place. It's complicated.
We see that a lot during the property brothers. Yeah. Okay, so this public
We'll do
school
another episode
here
on the property brothers. Says
in Portugal, they only pay 50 euros to 4 or 2 this school.
4.
For the school, which is her breakfast and lunch, and like everything that involves food and taking care of her besides the teaching moments, because as a 4-year-old kid, you have like a lot of breaks instead of staying in a classroom, right?
Yeah.
And he was telling me that the food there is very, very good. And he was very impressed that he only pays 50 euros for that.
Per year?
No, per month.
Oh, per month.
Yeah.
It's still good. Yeah, I remember when I was teaching in a public elementary school in Madrid, in Spain, the food was incredible. Like during the breaks, they would bring food for the kids and the teachers. And we would have like Spanish tortilla and empanadas, and it was awesome.
Yes, because this 50 euros pays like the cookers. No.
The cooks.
The cooks, paychecks, and the food. And that's it.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah. So I agree with the food part, but in general, I totally disagree with your perspective that Portuguese people speak much better than Brazilians because of better access and better school. Just because Spanish kids, I was teaching Spanish, literally they sent tons of, the Spanish government sent like thousands of Americans and Canadians to schools all over Spain.
You
They still do
included?
that. I was one of them. Maybe that was their first mistake. But most Spanish people, most Spaniards, still don't really speak English.
But there is another fact here in Portugal that we are knowing that right now. Like, it's a very tiny country, right? And all the young people, they don't stay in Portugal. They go to somewhere else to work, to study, to do whatever. So if you take as an example, Luxembourg, okay, so they have a lot of communities there of people from other parts of Europe, and the third biggest one is from Portugal.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Luxembourg is a tiny, tiny country.
It has a best paycheck from all Europe. All the public transportation is
From
free.
all of Europe.
All of Europe.
Yeah, Luxembourg has the highest GDP per capita in the world,
Yeah.
which
So-
isn't that high, but I think it's like $60,000 or $70,000 per year.
So maybe it's like a combo, you know?
The Portuguese have been traveling since 14th, 15th century, and it's in their blood. They are travelers. They are conquerors. They conquered you guys, and if you want to go conquer some foreign land, you should probably learn their language first.
And you take United States as an example. That is a huge community of Portuguese people in Boston and California.
Yeah, and Brazilians.
Yeah, you understood what I was saying.
Yeah. So anyway, Alexia, I have a totally different theory about why Portuguese people speak better than Brazilians, but that is definitely for another episode.
Perfect.
Okay?
Okay.
Adeus.
Ciao.
Beijinhos. Beijo, tchau.